Hey there, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about 204R pumps and specifically touch on the different design changes as well as interchangeability considerations through the years of the 204R's production life cycle, which ranged from 1981 through 1990. So there were two different pump covers manufactured and they were mated to three different pump bodies. So you had an early pump cover and body combination, and then you had a late pump cover and body combination where the late pump bodies can be divided into two separate vintages. You had a what I'll call mid vintage, so 83 to 85, and then you'll have a late vintage which is going to be 86 through 1990. From a pump cover perspective, you have early and late. So early is going to mean 81 and 82, and late is going to mean 83 through into production in 1990. So I'm going to refer to these castings by the last three digits of the serial numbers. So for example, if I refer to a 149 pump, I'm referring to this particular pump body right here because the last four digits are 149. Okay. Unfortunately, I do not have a 150 pump cover to show you because that is the corresponding match pump cover to body wise for this 149 pump body. 149 pump bodies and 150 pump covers were manufactured from 81 to 82 and installed all 204Rs produced for those years. And starting in 1983, they made a couple of key design changes to the hydraulic circuitry, particularly how the PR valve is fed pump pressure starting in 1983. All right, so first we'll take a look real quick at the pump body so you can visually see what the differences are. Then I'll have to flash a picture of a 150 pump cover on the screen, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about visually where you can identify the differences, and then from there we'll discuss interchangeability rules. So we'll have a 149, and then we'll use this pump body. This is going to be an 082 body, and then we have a 690 body. So if we're looking here at roughly the 10 o'clock position on each of these castings, so where my thumb is, right here on the 149 body, and then this location right here on the 082 body, you'll see right away that there is a large machined flat area that does not exist on the earlier body. Okay, so the earlier body has open worm tracks, whereas the late body does not. We'll look at the 690 body, and the story is the same. Okay, so visually speaking, that is the difference, the primary difference. So from a pump cover perspective, in this location right here, you're going to notice you have this kind of walled off, right? It's a rectangle or oval or whatever you want to call it, but it's closed. On the earlier casting, in the picture that I have on the screen, that's open. Okay, so what does all that mean from an interchangeability perspective? Like, what do you need to consider when, if you're in a situation where you need to use different pump bodies with different pump covers than what was, paired at the factory? So here's the rule. It's plain and simple. In the early 150 pump cover, there was an early pressure regulator valve design installed. Okay, that pressure regulator valve, which unfortunately again I don't have an example to show you, differed from this PR valve here, which is the late design, by virtue of the fact that it was unvented. It was a solid design. Okay, I'll flash a picture on the screen, but basically the rule is that you cannot pair an early design pressure regulator valve with a late design pump cover unless you, and I don't know whatever word you want to use here, machine, cut, slice, relief cuts here to vent the otherwise solid valve up here in this most inboard spool. Alright, I'll refer you to Transgo's instructions on exactly how to do that. They're available on their website for the SK204R shift kit. I'll put a link in the description so you can just take a look for yourself. But they walk you through exactly on what you need to do to adapt an early pump cover and pump PR combination to work with a later pump body. Okay? Alright, and then there's no penalty in terms of mods you have to do if you wanted to go with a later pump cover like this here. This is going to be a late pump cover. Okay, this is going to be a 088 cover with a 149 body. Alright, you're not going to have the, and I'll call this in quotes, the advantages of the design change, because you're going to be working with a pump body that has an open channel design here, but it will work. Okay, so with all the hydraulic recalibration that you're going to be doing to these things, higher pressure springs for the pressure regulator valve, larger ratio boost valves, valve body kits, etc., etc. Maybe you're going to install a 10 vane rotor. There's really no penalty, to my knowledge, from a performance perspective, as well as functionality-wise, to pairing a late cover and late PR valve with an early body. So you can adapt whatever the situation is calling for. Whatever problem you're trying to solve, you can adapt your way around it pretty much in all cases with the 204R, which is nice because that's not usually the case when you have significant design changes to hydraulics, partway through the life cycle of a given transmission. All right, let me talk about the internals. There's a lot of commonality between the 204R and the 700R4. They share a lot of parts in kind. So just like with the 700R4s, you want to grind off this innermost land here to give yourself full-time line to louvre at part throttle or all throttle positions. Okay, no different. The springs themselves are going to be essentially identical. You can interchange them. Same with the valving. So your boost and reverse boost, all the same deal. I mean, my recommendation for all these transmissions, as well as the 700Rs, is to put larger ratio boost and reverse boost valves in when you go back with them. I would never use the pre-existing valving. As far as the pump, let me touch on the TCC, apply valve. It's basically the same as a 700R4. Okay, springs are the same, at least they appear to be the same. Valve is the same. If there are any differences, I'll annotate what they are and what you need to know, but to my knowledge, they're the exact same valve and springs. Same spring stop and snap ring. And as far as the pump body is concerned, you have the same rotor guide, so 7 vane or 10 vane or even 13 vane. You can install a 10 or a 13 vane rotor if you wanted to in a 204R. That's no problem. You get to the point of diminishing returns with the 13 vane. Same with the 700R4s. 10 vane is fine. In fact, for the 200s, for most applications beyond, or I should say outside of, heavy, really serious street strip or full race, the 7 vane rotor and slide combination is going to be perfectly fine. We're going to install a 7 vane for this particular transmission when we go back to it, and I have no qualms about that whatsoever. So main thing is just make sure your clearances are good to go. And the clearance, by the way, is, and I managed to 1/1000th of an inch, but the clearance for the top of the rotor to the deck surface of the body is between 1 and 1.5 thou, and the top of the slide to the deck surface of the body is going to be 1 to 2 thou. So when I have these machined, I just manage to 1 thou clearance between the rotor and the slide so that I'm starting off at minimum spec. The pump rings are the same. Transgo's unbreakable pump ring kit, which is what I install on all these things. I mean, it's, same part number for both transmissions, 200 and 700R. The little pivot pin and spring for your slide is the same. Same with these little Teflon parts here. I'll annotate the video. I always forget what they're called. Same deal. will interchange. Same with the bushing for the pump body. The pump body bushing swaps between the 204R, the 700R4, and whatever year 4L60, 4L60E. 4L60 meaning the 90 or 91 and up 700R4s. So I always use the Sonex Teflon bushing. This was in here, during the last rebuild. I can't actually use this particular pump body in a rebuild because when my machinist put it up on the lathe to check it for true and look for warpage, apparently the whole casting is warped. I mean, he couldn't get it to run true no matter what he did. Installed it whichever way, nothing works. So it's going to be basically a video star. So anyway, that's kind of the deal with these pumps. So like I said, they're adaptable to your situation. If you find yourself in kind of a pickle and maybe you got one good half from one pump, another good half from another pump, you find yourself in my situation where you got a casting that's warped, so you got to scrounge, and all you can come up with is a non-matching casting vintage-wise. So you have some options. And like I said, go to Transgo's website for their instructions on the shift kit, just the basic 204R kit that they offer, and that'll walk you through not only just with respect to dealing with an early PR valve and an early cover, or a late cover I should say, mixing and matching those two together. They also give you a lot of tips and tricks in general for prepping parts and best practices and things to look out for. I mean, even if you don't plan on installing that kit or any of their kits, I would definitely encourage you to visit the website if you're at all planning a 204R build and you're looking for references and resources to kind of prepare yourself for your projects. So like I said, put the link in the description. It'll be there for you. The last thing I will touch on is front end play. So when we're measuring front end play, what we're really doing is we're measuring the amount of travel between the back of the stator, okay, this is the stator, and this selective thrust washer here, and the overrun clutch drum / input shaft assembly. So that whole deal with the coast clutches, the overdrive gear train, and the input shaft, all that entire assembly is going to travel, okay, some distance from where it's at rest position to the rear to the front of the transmission. All right, 10 to 30 thousandths is what you want to manage to. There are numerous different color of selective thrust washers, so obviously color denotes thickness. I'll annotate with the the ranges. I have kind of a representative cross section here. I have a whole bin full of these. So if you are getting into a 204R for the first time and you don't have a lot of selectives, I would strongly recommend you purchase at least maybe 2 or 3 others if you can, from your hard part supplier, or maybe you can locate them in the junkyard even, or just order a kit. You can order a kit. I think it comes with 5 different color washers and all different sizes, because more than likely you're going to be using a different thrust washer than what came out of the unit. And that's because you're replacing so many parts. The forward drum, the direct drum, chances are they need to be replaced. You may end up replacing one or more of the rear planets, the front planet, the rear planet, or maybe even all 3 of them. I mean, that would suck. But that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to these things. So you want to manage your supply chain when it comes to selectives, and kind of be prepared for any eventuality. So what else? Billet rotors. If you're going to run a 10 vane or a 13 vane, I'd recommend just going with a billet rotor. And the reason for that is if you're needing to beef up pressure, need more volume, more flow, then chances are it's because your application is very high RPM, high horsepower. I mean, maybe twice as much power output the engine that this thing's going back and behind than what it came from originally from the factory. So I think the most powerful engine that this transmission was ever installed behind, horsepower wise anyway, was either the Buick Grand National or 89 Turbo Trans Am's 3.8 liter V6. In fact, I want to say that year for the TA was the most powerful factory GM offering as far as engines are concerned. It was the fastest car, even faster than the Vet, 0 to 60, from what I understand. So the amount of horsepower that thing was putting out was like a little over 200, say 230 maybe, 230, 240, whatever it was. Even if it was 300, that's like a bargain basement budget build for a typical small block engine today that this 204R might see. So you kind of get the idea of the differences in the technology and all the advancements that have come, and the resultant kind of raising of the bar, if you will, when it comes to engine power. All right, I probably got a little bit long-winded there, but that's the video. If there's anything else I can think of, or if there's something I didn't touch upon when I cut this, I'll go ahead and annotate. And if there's anything else that is not in the video at all that you want me to cover, let me know what that is, and I'll make a separate video, because these transmissions they can be very finicky, and trying to provide as much information as I can out there. So if you're new to this transmission, you're new to 204Rs, maybe you haven't done one in forever, you'll have this now as a resource.